A number of studies provide substantial evidence of an innate human disposition to respond difficultly to social stimuli. From birth, infants will orient preferentially toward the human face and voice, seeming to know that such stimuli are particularly meaningful for them. Moreover, they resist this connection activity, imitating a variety of facial gestures that are presented to them: tongue protrusion, lip tightening, mouth opening. They will even try to match gesture, which they have some difficulty experimenting with their own face until they succeed. When they do succeed, they show pleasure by a brightening of their eyes. When they fail, they show distress. In other words, they not only have an innate capacity of matching their own kinesthetically experienced bodily movement with those of others that are visually perceived. They have an innate drive to do so. That is, they see to have an innate drive to imitate others whom they judge to be like me. A good way to make human machine interaction more natural world would be to develop a better metaphor. A computer metaphor is a familiar object or activity that your computer initiates with its comments, display, arrangement, and behavior. The two main metaphors we have today, the desktop and the browser. In the desktop metaphor, the display screen mimics a typical desk. Information is kept inside folder, which can be opened, closed, and slipped into other folders. With web browsing, the metaphor is downtown window shopping. You gauge at various storefronts, see one you like, and you enter. Inside, there are more options to browse. You choose another, and again you enter. Like a linguistic metaphor, the power of a good computer metaphor is that it makes a new system you don't know behave like an old system, which you were familiar. This lets you use the new system and get useful results out of it easily, since you don't have to strong learning new concept and comments. Human activity on the landscape can significantly contribute to soil erosion. In a natural state, vegetation serves as natural protection against erosion because the network of roots helps hold the soil in place against various erosive forces such as wind and water. Scientists estimate that in the United States, 30% of erosion is due to natural force and 70 is due to human impact. Oftentimes, when people use the land of farming, the protect covering of natural vegetation is destroyed, and the erosion process speed up. In fact, studies have shown that artificially created erosion played in a big part in the downfall of many early civilizations. Poor land management practice degraded the soil until It was no longer productive enough to support the population living in the area. Early civilizations that recognized the disaster effect of erosion used devices such as terracing the land to keep from plowing, planting, and irrigating on hillside slope, which water could wash the fertile soil away. It used to be thought that Netherlands were dim with slouching cavemen completely covered with hair, but this reputation is based on just one fossil, which modern scholarship has proved happened to be that of an old diseased and injured man. He was approximately 45 years old when he died, very old for people at that time. Healthy Netherlands probably walked it out. Objects were found at Netherlands site show that Netherlands could make complex too. The characteristics of their skulls suggest they probably could speak, although perhaps not with the full range of sound that modern humans make. Sites also show that they did not necessarily live in caves, but if they did, they likely altered the caves to make them more livable. Sometimes they built shelters rather than settled in caves. In 1996, scientists digging at the Netherlands site in Slovenia announced they had found what appears to be a musical instrument, a flute made from a bare bone. Discrimination occurs on two levels: institutional and individual. On the individual level, discriminatory practices are embedded in the social structure of a social, whereas on the individual level, discrimination takes place during direct interaction among individuals or groups. Unlike individual discrimination, which tend to be overt, intentional and direct, institutional discrimination is often covered and unintentional, and this indivisibility makes them much harder to detect. Standardized tests in school, for example, may exclude certain historical marginalized groups from succeeding in academic setting. Although the government may not have intentionally established testing standards that are culturally or school-based, in practice, these standards tend to have a disproportionate negative effect on ethnic minority studies. Furthermore, institutional discrimination often has a generational or cyclical impact on certain ethnic minority group, and therefore its consequences are as served, if not more so, than for those suffering individual discrimination.